you doing, YouTube? Matt Nassa Beer Reviews back with a little bit of Muckraker, the beer maker, up in this piece. And this be their Sitivia. It's hard to say because I want to say Sitivia, but I also want to say Sitiva. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's India Pale Ale with Brettanomyces, double dry hopped with Sitiva. There you go. Sitiva and Zamba hops. Oh, Tom from Muckraker just got to use those kooky hops. I have no idea what this beer is all about. They actually had this on draft when I stopped by there. I actually stopped by there last weekend. But I didn't pick this up. Actually, my buddy Keith, who has a can of this, kind of sent it my way, so thank you very much. Keith, go check his channel out. 93 Lumber, spelled out, not with numbers. 6% alcohol by volume. I actually really do enjoy these little kind of tiny, they do all their stuff like crowler level stuff, so I enjoy these kind of, this design as opposed to the one that they previously had, so I dig on that. As far as the beer goes, it looks like a hazy pale. It looks like there's a bit of oxidation going on. Now, like I said, all their beers are crowlered. They don't have them canned. I don't believe they do. I could be wrong. I feel like something hit me. I'm out here by myself, so now I'm creeped out. Anyway, so yeah, rich orange glow. Rocky as rocky could be. Head neurotic all over the place. Let's see if we can grab a nose on this sucker. I mean, it has to be a combination of hops and Brett. I'm getting a big peachy component off of this beer. I think it's probably more the Brett that's giving me that peachiness more than the hops itself, but I could be wrong. Man, I get that typical kind of bready, a little bit of kind of funkiness, nothing too over the top, a little drop of acidity to it, almost like lemon-like, but it really is this peach orchardiness. That's a word, orchardiness? We're making it a word. That is really kind of driving this beer for me. You definitely get that Brett characteristic in there. That funky Brett characteristic. It's not a horse blanket or whatever. It's a little bit funky, but it really is these peach kind of vibes that I really do associate more often than not with like farmhouse ale than a DDH kind of IPA. But yeah, I think it smells awesome. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's actually really tasty. Like, really tasty. It is definitely towing the line between a farmhouse ale, like an extra hopped farmhouse ale, and like an IPA. I understand the want and need to name this an IPA in order to kind of drive sales and do those kind of things. But it almost belongs in a bottle as opposed to a can. It's really pretty beer, honestly. Like the way this peach, it's not even just peach. It's like an organic, freshly bit into peach where you're getting everything from the skin. You got a little bit of those kind of pitty vibes, fleshy vibes, undersweetened, orchardy. Very orchardy. And when I mean orchardy, I mean like you're walking through the orchard and you just smell all the peaches. So you're getting the flora and fauna of the actual orchard itself as opposed to just peach on peach on peach. There is the slightest bit of acidity to it. Nothing too crazy, but that makes you think kind of like a little bit of lemon, maybe grapefruit kind of vibes on it, but not necessarily in a bursting citrus kind of flavor, more that acidity kind of driving it there, even though that little bit of citrus is just flirting around the bottom. I talked about color. I talked about oxidation. I actually think this beer does have, I wouldn't say a decent amount of oxidation on it, but it's a bit oxidized, which is kind of crazy because I think this beer might be quite a bit more vibrant than what it is now if that oxidation in this beer wasn't present. I believe Keith got this a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I think it might have been a bit more of an explosive, a bit more vibrant of a beer, but the way it's drinking now, I actually think it's fantastic. That little bit of subtle oxidation isn't doing it dirty or anything like that, just maybe muting the beer slightly. It's got a nice mouthfeel to it. There's a bittering that lingers. That's probably the biggest thing for me if I'm going to really kind of hem and haw between farmhouse ale and IPA. That bittering being as big as it is, I can understand the decision to call it that. But again, I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to get stuck on that because I don't really think it matters all that much. What I think really that matters is that I think it has a really big farmhouse Brett characteristic that comes off more peachy than anything else. Not like a Brett C or anything like that, more citrus. So even though you're getting a little bit of that, a little bit more earthy, little bit more kind of orchardy, like I said. I think the hops are kind of propping that up. I have no idea what sativa and or Zambia hops do, so I'm just kind of saying I think a portion of this is decent amounts Brett, and then there's a decent or a propping up from those hops. That's my kind of guess on this beer. With a nice mouthfeel. This is a really tasty beer. Just probably, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's kind of one of my favorite beers I've had from Muckraker. Maybe not the best beer I've had. There's a distinction between those two because I think there's beers that he's made that I might not be over the world like gaga for, but I think they're really technically well done. But as far as just viscerally, just knee jerk, I want to drink this on a nice. Somebody's making some noise. On a hotter summer day, I think this is actually really, really chug worthy and very tasty stuff. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better Brett IPAs I've had as of late? Yes. If I put it in that category, it's about Rushmore stats. Is it one of the better? I don't want to put it in regular IPA category, even though it would be closer to the top on that. It's a really tasty beer. That's it. I don't want to play that game. It's just really well done beer. I think Brett, two things, Brett and Brooks are two of the least utilized in fantastically IPA ingredients that you could use in the beer. I don't think a lot of people do Brett-based IPAs. I don't think a lot of people use Brooks-based IPAs. And I think it's a really, really, really fun kind of addition to a regular IPA. In a way, it gives you that kind of fruit juiciness, that sweetness, that little bit of kind of playful hops, more into that stone fruit category, but quite a bit different what you typically get from hops. And I didn't even say this. There's dryness, inherent dryness. As Brett is going to do that for you, so is Brooks. It's going to dry the beer out a little bit. You're not going to be over attenuated, over sweet, even though there's a little tinge of sweetness on this that kind of ties it all together. I think they're a great ingredient of a lot of IPAs. I'd like to see a lot of people do more of them. Value and availability on this, I have no idea. His price points are fair for the size of a brewery and what he does, especially his bigger balls and some of the stuff he does. Like, he probably loses more than he should, and leave you with, if you like, well, we like this beer. If you like Brett, if you like IPAs, you like when those worlds collide. When you've had these beers before, if you like these beers, you know what I'm talking about. Those breweries that actually stick their toe out of the water or into the water and try something a little bit different when it comes to Brett side in a more traditional kind of IPA. If you like those worlds colliding, if you like that fruitiness but more organic kind of way as opposed to a sweet on sweet on sweet thing, you will like this. So there you go. A review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out through the social media stuff, Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little Muckraker right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.